One. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dribble and Drive podcast. I'm Jack.
I'm Anthony. Welcome back.
Yo, we're back for third or fourth episode. Probably a third official if it's the fourth.
Yeah, week 8 the NFL just happened, so we'll be touching on that, touching on some hoops.
For sure.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the NFL. We had some good games, some not so good games. The Commanders Bears, that was a fun game. I'm not gonna lie, it was, at least the way it ended. That Jaden Daniels Hail Mary. Jaden Daniels is insane. I mean, the Bears held them to 18 points, but Jaden Daniels, he played pretty well. 21 for 38 is not crazy, but he went over 300 yards. He had a touchdown, and he kept them in it. Like, it was just more the Bears' red zone defense. They held him to field goals. I think they hit like 5 field goals.
Yeah.
4 or 5 field goals and 1 touchdown. So impressive from the Bears defense to keep them out of the end zone, but still at the same time, like, he had a good game, just couldn't get the ball in the end zone for the most. But they won, so it's all right. Caleb, in my opinion, he has games where he looks amazing, and then he has games where you can see the age and the inexperience. Like, he's clearly a rookie, and but overall, I like what I've seen from Caleb because obviously you're playing for the future, and he shows potential, but he's still a rookie.
Yeah, the Bears defense is solid. Like, if you take away that last play of the game, they give up 12 points to one of the best offenses in the league so far. So I think that's encouraging.
Very impressive.
Yeah, you just need Caleb to be like, all right, which like this week he was. He didn't turn the ball over at all. He didn't throw any touchdowns, but they did enough to win that game. And if you're walking away from it with a Bears fan like perspective, I think like you're encouraged. DeAndre Swift, 130 yards and a TD. You're moving the ball on the ground even when the passing game really wasn't working. So I think and you rely on your defense. So I think like they have a formula for success there, and I think they're gonna figure it out, and they'll continue to play close games, and I think they'll be on the other side of it going down the line.
Absolutely, and they were missing Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon, 2 of their best DBs, and their defense still played really good. So I'm really high on this defense led by Montez Sweat. There's some really good linebackers in there. But yeah, it's just a matter of when the offense is going to take that next step. Because Caleb, he looks all right. He's keeping them alive. As a drop back passer, down to down, he's not looking great, but he has some great plays that he was hyped up for. He got out of the pocket, kind of improvised. Keenan Allen on, not a hot route, Keenan Allen, he kind of audible. He was like, go this way, hit him with a good pass, and Keenan Allen got a good gain out of it. It's those plays that you want to see out of Caleb Williams, and he's making them. It's just, when can he become that drop back, down to down passer? The efficiency is really what you're looking for.
Yeah, and they got all the guys there to do it, between DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Dunze. And Cole Kmet too showed you last week, that he can go out there and put up 2 touchdowns. So they can. All these guys on the field, all their skill position players can score. I think it's just they got to be able to put it together, and if they can't within the next 3 to 4 weeks here, people are gonna start getting restless.
Absolutely,
especially at Eberflus and stuff, because they've seen glimpses of it, but so they know it's there, but it's
the consistency.
Yeah.
And like you said, they have the guys to do it. The only thing is the offensive line and Caleb Williams. When are they going to put it together? If they don't put it together this year, do you think it becomes a real problem, or do you think they're going to be patient with it?
No, they'll be patient.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I hope they give Eberflus another year, but this league, you never know.
Yeah, you really don't. And, he is a defensive head coach. The defense is looking really good. I'm not, the biggest fan of the offensive coordinator, but he has potential. So he's got something to prove. If he can prove it, they're going to be really good. But, yeah, I definitely like them to, look at a different offensive coordinator before they go ahead and fire Eberflus, because he's doing a great job of, consistently, year after year, leading a really good defense. It's just the offense. When are they going to put it together? And, if Caleb in the offensive line can get it together this year, it could be a contender. They really could. But I don't think that happens this year. I think that's more of a next year thing. Jaden Daniels is really an outlier of a rookie. We can't expect that out of Caleb. But, hopefully they grab a left tackle in the draft or free agency. And
Jaden Daniels, remember, he was questionable coming into this. So they didn't really get him at 100%. So
And he still did a great job.
yeah, if you want to look at the other side of the coin, the Commanders were banged up coming into it, and they still were able, even though they should have lost, they squeaked it out. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? So
Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels, that is a special connection. They got things going on the ground. Huge shout out to Cliff Kingsbury. He's proven himself.
I want to ask you, what is your reaction to the play at the end of the game? Like, I understand that guy's taunting and doing all that, but at the end of the day, he turned around. He made the right play, right? He was in the play. It's not like he wasn't in the play. Like
Absolutely.
I feel like
he was in the play.
I feel like people are kind of blowing this up too much, and yeah, it's a karma moment, like big karma moment, and you know what, like he won't ever do that again. But like I feel like people are kind of overreacting.
I do too.
Like he was on one side of the field. He turns around and he sees the plays moving the other side, and so he stayed deep, and then he jumped on it trying to bat it down, and just it went in the wrong direction. That's luck, you know what I mean? If that thing goes any other direction, nobody's catching that, and nobody's even talking about this.
Right.
So I think, like, I don't know. What do you think? Like,
so I mean, my personal opinion is like he was the one who tipped the ball up, so no matter what, it's going to be a bad look. Noah Brown was open, but yeah, like I mean, 8% of Hail Marys are successful. Like, you're not expecting that. He was in the play, like you said. He got back. But it is a bad look. But definitely overblown. Like, on Monday, it was all over ESPN throughout the entirety of the day, and even Tuesday. It's like, lay off the dude. He's a really good corner.
Yeah.
It's a learning lesson. He's going to learn from it. I don't think they're going to bench him. I saw some analysts being like, oh, he has to be benched. He's learned his lesson. He was on ESPN for the better half of the week, all day.
Yeah.
It's like, he's learned his lesson. He's a really good corner, like I said. And I'm not worried about it. Like, the Bears defense, they held the Commanders to 18 points. Like, he had a good game. They're solid.
12.
Yeah,
If you discount that last.
Absolutely.
So, like, actually, like, one touchdown. So, like, that's...
Really impressive day from the Bears. I think it is overblown. I agree with you.
No, did they even let up a touchdown? Or
just at the end.
Was it all field
goals and then the touchdown at the end?
Yeah, okay.
So, a really good day from the Bears defense. Like I said, like if Caleb was Jaden Daniels, the Bears probably blew this game out of the water.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
That was probably the game of the week, though.
Yes, absolutely. I think both of these teams are not contenders. I think Washington could be a contender. The defense just worries me. And then Chicago, if the offense was there, they'd be a contender, but it's not.
Yeah, so I agree with you.
That's my take on those two teams. The Vikings-Rams also had a pretty solid game. Christian Darrisaw out for the season, though. That's huge. Like, that's a huge blow. Left tackle, one of the most important positions in the sport. One of the best players at it. So that's a big loss. And when Sam Darnold's your quarterback, that elite left tackle play is really elevating him, especially with how he's locking on to Jefferson. Like, I think Sam Darnold is not the guy. I think this is a huge injury, and they did sign Cam Robinson, but we've seen what he's been in Jacksonville. I don't have too much hope for that. I'm looking at the Vikings as more of a next year team than this year.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you'll see. Like we were talking, this stretch of schedule here gets real tough for them. I don't know. They have a lot of division games coming up, so we'll kind of figure out who they are.
We will.
I say in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
Absolutely.
The Rams, they were down and out. Then they get Puka Nacua back and Cooper Kupp in that game, and looks like they hadn't missed a beat.
And all of a sudden, we just remember what their offense was last year.
Yeah. And the Vikings, I think the most concerning thing was the Vikings defense couldn't get a stop when they needed it. Like, every time they needed a big stop, like, they couldn't get it. Like, Matthew Stafford, like, big third downs, just making big throws, like, threw for 4 touchdowns. Like, he was just carving them up.
Right.
And, like, that defense has been praised all season with the Brian Flores, showing pressure and disguising it. And, like, he cooked it. So,
do you think it's more of the Rams and Stafford being, like, a genuinely really good offense when healthy? Or is it... Because Brian Flores, he's leading a really good defense. They're really good. But they're definitely playing above their talent level. Do you think they got exposed? I mean, they kind of did. But, I also think the Rams are really good offensively.
Yeah, and everybody, I mean, not as much now because they haven't been as good, but everybody loves that McVay. You know, they talk about the Shanahan and the McVay offense. Like, it's for real. So.
I love that tree, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. And Kevin O'Connell comes right from it.
Yeah.
And look what they're doing. So,
yeah.
It's my
He's a prodigy, so he's just...
Exactly. He's the next one up.
That's actually funny. Yeah.
He's the next one up.
I forgot about that.
It's my favorite offensive tree. Like, I love talking about how good Shanahan is. Like, guys are just open. The play action game, the shots, like, it makes Brock Purdy. And no disrespect to Brock Purdy, but he was the last pick in the draft. He wasn't great in college. He's a dog in this system. Like, one of the best quarterbacks in the league in this system. Garoppolo went to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl. So it's an amazing coaching tree. That's why I'm so high on the Vikings, because you have Jefferson and Addison in that system. When you get your franchise quarterback and J.J. McCarthy back.
And Hawkinson's got to be back soon, right?
He's back, I think. And that's just huge. And Christian Darrisaw, when he comes back, that's a really elite left tackle. I mean, he tore his ACL and MCL. Hopefully he can come back from it. I bet he does. But I hope Brian Flores stays in Minnesota next year. And I hope they add like a pass rusher or a linebacker or something. Because I think depending on how good McCarthy is next year, this should be a Super Bowl team. Like Addison and Jefferson behind a good offensive line in the, O'Connell offense that comes from the McVay tree. That's amazing if you have the quarterback. So I just don't think they have the quarterback right now.
And I'm going to add this too. Like, I don't think you can put too much stock in that. Like these Thursday night games on a short week. Like it's
100%.
I don't know. They just played in Minnesota on a Sunday, and then they go Monday. They probably fly to LA.
Absolutely.
Then they get a day of practice, and then they got to rest the day before, and then you're playing the game. So like I don't know. You can't put too much stock into that Thursday night short week.
You're 100% right.
Across the country.
So like, what do you come away from this game? Because what I come away from is like, they are on a short week, 100%. But what I am coming away from this is that Darnold, which was already like a narrative of mine, like something I really believed, is that Darnold isn't really that good. Even if it's not that hot of a take. And I also believe the Rams offense is really good when healthy. Yeah. So that's kind of, and
the Rams, they just put themselves like back in the playoff race.
Right.
For the wild card or their division. Their whole division's 4-4 and they're 3-4. So.
And you look at the NFC and it's like Detroit is a contender. Who else is a contender? I mean, I think they're pretty much.
They're on the heels. They can win their division. So even if like they don't have a great record, like they could still win their division and be the 4 seed, which is crazy to think. Like because Stafford's barely played and Cooper Kupp's been out, but hey, I guess they just find a way. They're sticking around and they're right on their heels. So.
And like who's ahead of them? Like Green Bay with Jordan Love's injury, Washington with the bad defense and a rookie quarterback.
Well, I'm just talking division with Seattle. San Francisco and Arizona. Like San Francisco, they got all these injuries right now. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Seattle, I don't even know. Nobody really knows what's up with them. Like Geno Smith, you don't know what you're getting every week. It's kind of...
The offensive line is so bad.
Yeah.
Like when you put Geno behind a bad offensive line, that ball might go 70 yards, but it may go, you never know. You really never know. Like Geno Smith behind a bad offensive line, you could win a crazy game, but you could also just fall apart, and that's kind of what's happening. I think the Seahawks and the Cardinals are extremely mid, too many weak points, and then I think the Rams are ahead of them both just because of their offense. Like I think it's so high powered. It's
actually there for the taking. So
it really is. Absolutely. We'll see what the 49ers can do without Ayuk. That's gonna be big, but if Pearsall can fill those shoes, I'm still really high in the Niners. But if he can't, and Juwan Jennings is hurt right now, the Rams, I mean, they're the best team in the division probably.
Okay. Yeah, no, I cannot disagree with that. Yeah.
My only thing is that Aaron Donald, that's a bad loss. That's a bad loss, but moving on, the Ravens, Browns, we could just talk about that for a minute. Winston, he took advantage of the opportunity he was given. He reminded the league how talented that dude is when he's making good decisions.
I love that clip that came out that like I'm gonna defend him, and then like the next week,
he's
there interviewing him before the game, and he's like, God made the day good, or he's saying something like that. I forget exactly what it was, but he was like, everything that comes out of his mouth, he just fires you up.
I love it, dude. I love the dude. I just wish, next week the Browns are playing the Next week, the Browns are playing the Chargers. That's not a great defense this year. Hopefully, he can keep them in that game.
Browns. Like, I don't... Let's see. Let's take a look. Browns, like, they're kind of... If they even want a chance at the playoff, they really don't have any margin for error. They can maybe lose 1 or 2 games. So, like, the Browns at this point, they're kind of just like, hey, let's mess some people's season up here, you know? Like,
throw Winston out there. See if he can be...
let's show these guys, we aren't really as bad as our record says. And Winston, yeah, what did he throw? 3 touchdowns, like 300 yards?
Yep.
Like,
in that game alone secures him another backup job. He was the Saints starter for some of the time last year. Maybe some team is, we're going to see through the rest of the season. You can't just judge on one game. But, I mean, if he pulls that product out, he's going to get a job next year. I mean, he's so talented.
Yeah.
And you can't deny it. It's just the decision making. Like, that dude's insane.
You'll have games where he gives you that and 3 interceptions too. But,
right.
Hey, it's...
And how about the Ravens? Are you worried about that secondary? We came into the season thinking that was going to be an elite secondary. They're banged up. I'll give them that, so I'm not too worried. And then they traded for Deontay Johnson, and they're going to run a ton of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends out there. So I really love that offense with Flowers and Johnson as the 2 receivers. Bateman can come in and go downfield, but I mean, he's struggled. So I really love the Ravens right now. I'm not too worried about the secondary, even though that is an issue right now.
Ravens have given up the most points against in the division. It's like surprising, even like with Cincinnati there.
It's very surprising.
Wow.
Very, very surprising. Like Cincinnati, that's a league bottom defense.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I also think like these division games too, like these teams know each other. They've been playing each other for years. How many years? Like, you know what I mean? Like these guys know Lamar Jackson like the back of his hand, and if anyone's gonna hand it to him, I think it's one of the Browns or like one of these division games.
100%.
So
a really good, talented defensive team who can have a day on offense in the division. That's the perfect recipe for a loss to a really good team. I'm not worried.
Yeah, and that's a guy on the other side who was playing for his career, so he was going,
exactly.
You know what I mean? All these guys, their fight, I don't know.
I completely agree. It's a game you don't bet on. It's a game you don't bet on.
It makes Stefanski, the coach there, too, like that's a good win for him, like
it really is.
People like probably second guessing him, even though he's kind of got his handcuffed. His hands are handcuffed, you know what I mean? So
he's put up some really good products, but with what Deshaun Watson's done. But it's like Joe Flacco is really good. Jameis Winston has been really good. Baker Mayfield was really good in that system. At some point, Deshaun Watson is terrible or just can't run an NFL offense.
Brissett was better than him. Like how?
Right. I think when you factor in all that context, you got to say, all right, Stefanski's not the problem.
No.
But yeah, moving on. Jets were terrible. Rodgers is terrible. He's washed. Everything about the Jets.
This is probably the last week we talk about the Jets.
Right.
Like, give
it's
them
got to be
their own segment.
Please,
This is it.
I don't want to talk about them anymore. I hope they lose. This week they are playing the
Texans.
Oh, they're cooked on Thursday night. They're cooked. The Texans, even without Diggs, that's going to be too easy for them.
Are they at home?
They are in...
No, they're in New York. Oh, this place.
They're going to get embarrassed.
It's going to get ugly. If they go down, the first half of this game, it's going to get ugly.
Ooh. Yeah, we're going to hear a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't know where they go from here. They kind of just got to... They have some pieces. They can ship some guys out maybe and try to do a mini rebuild. I don't know what. You can't even make an argument to bring this back. It was already going downhill, and they dumped a 3rd-round pick into Adams. It's like, dude, you tried to salvage a really broken, failed experiment. It's not working. It's too late. Rodgers. Brees Hall's underwhelming every week. I don't know if it's because that offensive line is so bad, but it's kind of just everyone's not pulling their weight.
Brees Hall extremely underwhelming, but like you said, I think the lack of a passing offense is probably hurting Brees Hall. But you have all this talent. It needs to work. It needs to work, and it's just not. Rodgers is done.
Defense has gotten worse since all is left. It's
right. I don't know why they. Hopefully this is my last time saying this. I don't know what they're gonna do for the rest of the season. I don't know if they're gonna pull a surprise win and get everybody. Oh, the Jets.
Yeah. I
really hope not. The Saleh firing was terrible. The defense was not the issue. The defense has been really good year after year. Hackett.
That's why he's already on another team helping
Right?
them out.
Exactly. He's great.
I don't know if he was hired by the Packers, but he was seen at one of their practices. You know what I mean? So the guy knows football.
He does. And like you said about Stefanski, the dude was handcuffed. He had no control over that offense, and look where it went.
Yeah.
You can't blame him. I don't know. That was a terrible fire. The Jets are the Jets. And that's the lesson. Cowboys Niners, that was whatever.
That was
the Bills killed the Seahawks. Real quick, I just want to say the Bills have been phenomenal, especially since the Cooper trade. He's been a bona fide wide receiver one. It's opened up Keon Coleman to do things outside the X role, and Shakir slides back into the slot where he belongs and where he excels.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks, I'm not high on them.
Yeah, Cooper, he didn't have a big week this week. But it's only his second week there. Yeah. And
look what it's done for Keon Coleman.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's opening it's taking defenders off all these other guys, where exactly. they have to know where Amari Cooper is now.
Coleman was being guarded as a wide receiver one, and Shakir wasn't in the slot where he belongs. And now they throw Cooper into that wide receiver one role, and all of a sudden, Keon Coleman has 125 yards and then 70 yards and a touchdown. So really impressive stuff from the Bills. I'm high on them.
Yeah.
And I love that trade. I think that's a Super Bowl trade. That's a league winning trade.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And then last game, the Chiefs. They always find a way. They barely beat the Raiders, but it's a division game. They're 7-0. This is always how it kind of goes throughout the seasons. I'm not worried. Why would I be worried? They always figure it out. They lost Rice, but they got Hopkins. Didn't have a great game, but I mean, that's just a reliable receiver to replace Rice. Still got Worthy. They still got Kelsey. Still got the pieces they always do.
Yeah.
They're not even a passing team. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the Chiefs.
Are you worried?
If you put us in a time machine 5 years ago, I'm looking at this stat sheet. You got Patrick Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelsey. All these guys,
they're back.
It's the same guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And hopefully you get Pacheco back. The defense has been phenomenal behind Spagnuolo, as it always is.
Get D-Hop more involved in these upcoming weeks.
Exactly. He's only going to get more comfortable. I want to ask you a question. Real quick, we could just do this little thing, contenders versus pretenders.
Hold up. I wanted to do one more game.
Bet.
Falcons, Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that was a big win for the Falcons because the Falcons, they were tied up in the division.
Mm-hmm.
They did have I think they were tied. Yeah, they were tied with Tampa at 4-3.
Okay.
So they were kind of tied going into that, and with Tampa getting a few guys injured, that was a really big game for the Falcons. They had to win that to separate themselves in the division, and so the Saints, they're 2-6. They're kind of out of it. No room for error now. Carolina's not there. So Atlanta now, they got a big advantage in the division. So I think if they can carry this on, hopefully that would be big. So
absolutely, the Godwin and Evans injuries are huge. Atlanta needs to prove themselves. That's a big prove it win. They've got Dallas on the clock in Dallas. We can talk about this for a second.
Team they can beat.
That's a team they should beat, and they have to beat to prove themselves. And that Dallas defense, they're not stopping Bijan. And if they pile up on Bijan, then Kirk's going to cook them.
Yeah, we've seen that. The Falcons in prime time, and they put up points every week.
Right.
I think it comes down to defense because you're looking this past week, Bijan, he had 40 yards receiving, 50 rushing. They're getting him, finally doing what he should be doing. You got Kyle Pitts last week on that 50-yard touchdown. That's the stuff we expected to see from this dude when we drafted him.
That's what this was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
This is exactly what was supposed to happen, and I love what we're seeing.
Drake London, he's a legitimate wide receiver one, I think.
And Mooney.
Yeah.
Mooney's playing phenomenal.
Mooney, that guy can fly, man. He's fast.
This is the perfect setup for Penix to step in the next year or two. But Kirk, he's cooking. He can win a playoff game with this.
Yeah.
As long as the defense.
Yeah.
They have Judon. They have Grady Jarrett. That pass rush needs to step up. Help A.J. Terrell and the Justin Simmons. Do they still have Casey Hayward? Maybe not. Help them out in the secondary. But yeah, they have the Cowboys. And, hey, the Cowboys, hopefully this is Mike McCarthy's last stretch. They got the Falcons. Then they got the Eagles. Then they got the Texans. Then they got the Commanders.
Okay.
He's got to be fired if they lose all four, right?
Yeah.
right? You can't lose 4 in a row. Go what?
At that
3
point,
and
they
8?
might just let the season finish
And
out
then-
and then get rid of them.
That's so. Oh my gosh, they're gonna be 3 and 8 or 4 and 7 at best. They might beat the Eagles.
So like, yeah, finishing your season though, you do have a stretch where like it's not good, but like you do have a stretch of like 4 games where you can win all those. You know, you got the Giants, you got the Bengals, you got the Panthers and the Bucks 4 weeks in a row. Like you go, and then there's 2 games at the end of the season versus division that you might, you know. So
Yeah,
like,
so you got a point, but I mean, if we go through this stretch, that's a horrible, horrible look for this team.
yeah, but then they're gonna have this resurgence, and then it's like,
No,
That's-
don't remind me.
it's the Cowboys. I
It
feel
is.
like it's setting up for Cowboys. Just
Oh.
like, you know, this is who the Cowboys are.
Absolutely.
Sorry to rag on you.
No. Dude, if you can hear my thought, if I could really express my thoughts on the Cowboys, our show would be taken down because that's how I feel. I'll tell you off camera, and then I'll be able to kind of, I don't know what the word is. I can just talk, like I can't say what I feel right now.
Yeah,
I can't because if Mike McCarthy's not gone, I'm going to be so upset. But yeah, contenders, pretenders, and then I have a few that I don't know. Contenders: Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, Detroit. Is Houston a contender? Especially after the Diggs loss? Like, I mean, I think it's hard to-
never really liked Houston.
really. See,
I
I
don't know,
do.
like, even like last year, I don't know. Like they're really good at home. You know, they're a good home team. You know, like look at this year, 4-0 at home, 2-2 on the road. Like, and one of those ones was against the Patriots. So
Okay, 6-3 at home, 4-4 on the road last year.
yeah,
Dude, I'm not gonna lie though. Like, even if it's not this year, I love CJ Stroud. That dude is amazing.
yeah. They need Mixon. They really need Mixon.
They
to
need
stay
Mixon.
healthy.
They need him because Damian Pierce and I can't pronounce that dude's name. Ogunbowale.
Yeah,
Like, they're not getting it done on the ground. They can be receiving back. Like Ogunbowale can get some work on third down, but Damian Pierce, I don't know what happened to him. He's not good. Joe Mixon is so crucial to this offense, and they lost Stephon Diggs. You know, they're not perfect, and that's why I'm like, are they a Baltimore, Buffalo, or Kansas City? I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to say. And then on the other side of the conference, Green Bay, Washington, San Francisco, and the Rams. Are they contenders? Like,
I don't know.
like Green Bay? It's,
Like, if I were to make a list of contenders, I would put Buffalo,
mhm.
Detroit, Kansas City, and the 49ers.
Really? You want to put the Ravens?
Yeah, you can put the Ravens.
Okay.
Make that 5.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm going to throw San Francisco in there just because you can't count them out.
Yeah.
You can't.
But, like, all these other teams, like, I feel like Washington, like, with a rookie QB showing up in the playoffs, you can lose week 1.
With a
Like,
bad defense.
Yeah. Like, I think, you know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
with you. I completely agree.
Pittsburgh, I'm not sold on. Green Bay, they play teams down in their competition, I feel like. Besides that game where they smoked Dallas last year, when have you ever been, like, blown out of the water by them?
It's like, well, the 49ers game had me excited in the playoffs in the NFC, not the divisional. They had me like, wow, they had me in a chokehold. My thing is Love. He comes out this year and he's turning the ball over. He can't stay healthy but when he is healthy, he's turning the ball over. It's like, what's going on? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It worries me, but I really like them. Like, I love Matt LaFleur. And I think Jordan Love's a really good system fit. It's just, you know, and I love the receivers, but it's just, can Jordan Love not turn the ball over and can he stay healthy? I don't know.
Like, there's some days you watch them and they just don't have it.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
you're just like, it's so clear.
mhm.
And then there's some days you're like, wow, like, this is a completely different team.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm like, if they get Love back healthy and they go on a little stretch, it's hard to leave him out because I feel like if I leave him out, that's what's going to happen. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I can't put them with Detroit. I can't put them with San Francisco.
Like, I feel like I would be more comfortable making a list of teams that I feel cannot contend. Because I feel
Okay.
like there's more teams that can contend than not contend.
Okay. So,
You know what I mean? Like,
pretenders.
yeah.
Pittsburgh,
like pretenders. Let's see, Pittsburgh, maybe Houston.
Maybe, but I gotta hold on to a little bit of hope for them. Like I'm putting, I don't know. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I don't know where to put Houston
Yeah,
or Green Bay.
I know Houston. Like Houston's schedule hasn't been great either. They've been
That's true.
playing some not good teams.
Right? Like they should beat up on these teams.
Yeah,
That's the thing. But I'm just like C.J. Stroud, man, and D'Amico Ryans. It's hard. It's hard to give up on that. I really think they're good.
yeah,
But the Packers beat them, right? Like those are two head-to-head teams, and the Packers beat them.
yeah. No,
I don't know. I don't know. I can't put them with Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, but I also can't put them with Pittsburgh or Cincinnati.
No, I'd say like Pittsburgh. Like Pittsburgh's in the same boat as like Philly. You know what I mean?
Philly,
Like
Minnesota,
yeah, exactly.
Atlanta,
Yeah,
Tampa.
that's a Denver's up hanging around up there.
I put
mean,
Denver
they
in
just-
there.
They just played with the Chiefs, so they have no shot at that division. But
Real quick,
they
I
could be
love
a
what
wild card, sneaky.
I love what Denver's going on. I love what Denver has going on. More for the long term. But Bo Nix and the Sean Payton offense with a really, really good offensive line and a really, really good defense. That's a recipe for success long term.
Yeah, and he's getting more and more comfortable throwing the ball. Like they finally get Cortland Sutton, I think, had his first 100-yard game of the season this week.
Finally, he's been sitting on my fantasy bench.
Yeah, same here. So I've been waiting for it, but I don't know if they can just they run the ball. They have like they're almost like the Bears. They have a good defense. Just if they need the quarterback to not turn the ball over and just
Exactly.
give us 20 points.
Right?
We got a chance.
20.
Yeah.
And that's insane to say. And then I'd also throw Seattle in there because in Arizona, like, they're not contenders, but they're also
Yeah, I don't even know if you can throw Seattle in there.
yeah, they're falling off. They're really going downhill. But if they get their offensive line back healthy, who knows? Maybe they end up in the playoffs. They're not going to win a game.
Yeah.
But who knows? But
I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like when rookie quarterbacks get to the playoffs, it's not what we think it is. The
Exactly.
moment for these guys is a lot of the times too big. I think that like Lamar let up big time his first year, and in Dak. These guys have to lose to win.
they do.
You know what I mean?
Stroud last year, I mean, he looked good against the Browns, but that's the Browns.
Yeah.
That's the Browns at the end of the day. Goes to Baltimore and he gets absolutely killed. The lack of the running game also hurt him, but this year it's not looking too much better.
The only guy who came in and really did it was like Burrow, like immediately. I'm
Then he
thinking,
tore
in recent memory.
Then he tore his knee.
Yeah.
And then the next year he comes out, he makes the Super Bowl. So yeah.
So Daniels, we'll see.
I think he's one of them ones, but yeah, it's really hard for a rookie quarterback with a bad defense to go out there and win playoff games. Like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. If there's any games you want to touch up on real quick on before we go into the NBA, the Vikings Colts, we can talk about AR for a second. Anthony Richardson bench.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a really interesting situation because you got a really good roster. You could make the playoffs with a good quarterback. AR, he threw 10 for 32. Like, that's abysmal. But in Joe Flacco, he elevates this offense. Maybe he can make the playoffs with them.
Yeah, I saw like a play where like Anthony Richardson called himself off the field. I don't know what was going on there, but that's not really a good look.
It's not. But I also am, like, people keep telling me about that, but I'm not too worried about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he had a really long run. I don't know. I feel like that isn't the most thing I'm worried about. I get it.
Maybe he thought he had a concussion. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. And, that Monday Night Football game, Chargers-Cardinals, I was watching it. I know a lot of people weren't. Kyler did it.
Yeah.
Kyler did that same exact thing, and nobody talked about it.
Drake May last week, he got hit. He went on like a 30-yard run, and they pulled him out for concussion protocol probably like 6 plays later.
Right.
So like you're like, whoa, where's Drake May? And you're like, oh, it was on that hit?
Right? It's like, why didn't you take him out there?
So you never know.
You got to keep the guys safe. I mean, you never know. You never know. Obviously, Kyler's not the guy you want to, model your character as a franchise quarterback after. Absolutely not. But you get my point. Like, I just don't think it's crazy. What I'm looking at is like, AR's 9 games into his career. He's played 9 full games, 9 or 10. It's too early to give up on the rawest quarterback ever. Not that you don't bench him. Not that you don't throw Flacco in, try and elevate this team. Give yourself a chance at the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I'm also really upset that, Sunday Night Football, I really like watching Anthony Richardson no matter how bad he is. He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And now we have to watch Joe Flacco.
Whether he's throwing the ball like 100 miles an hour or whatever it is. So
he's got the development with his accuracy and his decision making. But I mean, all the physical tools are there. And Shane Steichen, look what he did with Hurts. I think he's the guy to do it. You look at AR's stats; he has very similar stats, but to Josh Allen, a very similar prospect through their first 2 seasons. And it's like they're the same kind of guy. Can AR take that step? I don't know. Hopefully, but is benching him the right move? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to question the NFL head coaches, but yeah, unless there's anything you want to get into for the rest of the NFL, I think we can do NBA for the rest.
Yeah, you want to slide over?
Bet. So I'll let you. What do you want to go into? What do you think? What's your overall takeaway from the first week and a half of the NBA season?
Yeah, obviously we can't overreact. It's first week of the season. These guys are playing with a lot of new teammates and like just coming into the season. It takes a while for these guys to catch their stride. There's maybe a few matchups the first week of the season they'll get up for, and then that's kind of it. It's kind of, you can't put too much stock into it, but there have been some teams that, like, you've been like, what are we seeing here?
Right.
Just for example, you look at the Knicks, 1-2. You got Indiana 1-3, Milwaukee 1-3.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the East, and then you go out west here. You got Denver 2-2, and they played some not great games against some really bad teams. And the West is a dogfight, but you kind of can't put too much stock into it. You got the Warriors at 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Curry's not playing right now. He's injured through the first 2 months.
Really? He's not playing at all?
Yeah, so he won't be back till I think like maybe at best like later November. Because you saw him walk off with the ankle thing, right?
That's devastating. Yeah, that I didn't know it was that bad. Damn.
Yeah, it'll be at least a month, I think. So
that's so bad, man. That's so disappointing. My thing with the West is that like the Jazz and the Trailblazers are gonna bottom out. Spurs also probably aren't going to be very good. The Warriors without Curry are probably not going to be very good. The rest of it is a complete dogfight. Like the 1 seed, the Thunder kind of stick out. The Wolves stick out a little. But the Rockets could be a top 5 seed or they could be a bottom 5 seed.
Yeah,
it goes for a lot of teams. The Kings, the Nuggets,
Timberwolves. Yeah, it's the West is so competitive compared to the East. It's really we're both fans of the Celtics, so we're like, yes, thank God.
Let's go.
We got maybe 2 or 3 teams we got to worry about over here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Cavs look good.
Yeah, like there's like you can pick 6 teams, the bottom 6 teams here in the East, and you put them against the bottom 6 teams in the West, and I think the West will win most of those games.
100%. That's the thing. It's really weird. One thing I want to talk about. Darius Garland had 34 last night against the Knicks. Is that combination going to work? Like, the whole thing with Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, Allen, is that going to work? I don't know. Like, sometimes that looks great, and sometimes they just don't look great, It's a really weird situation. We'll see. I don't know if they need another wing, like a Okoro, Dean Wade. I don't know if these guys are going to get it done. Karis LeVert. I don't know what to think of this team. I don't.
So... Like a lot of people last year don't know that Darius Garland, he like broke his jaw in the middle of the season and he got it like wired shut. So like when he was like playing, he missed like 20 games and then he comes back and he's playing with his mouth all messed up. He can't even talk half the time to his teammates.
That's something I didn't even know about. That's crazy.
People were on him last year about having like a down year, and this is why. And like people like his like he moves the ball great alongside Mitchell, and people are like, why isn't he progressing? And I saw a stat, I don't know exactly where it was, but online, where all these guys in the NBA who suffered this injury, their stats significantly decreased. And like it was like, all right. And then after a year or 2, those stats slowly started coming back. So I think, and like a lot of those players didn't even play through it when Garland was going. So I think he could be like he's flying under the radar, and I think he could be sneaky good this year.
I really agree then. Because,
Yeah,
his numbers all dropped off. His points went from 22 to 18. His assists, they went from 7 to 5. His 3-point percentage went down from 41% to 37%.
so
His
the,
field goal percentage went down.
so he's back and fully healthy this season. I think you got to give him a fair shot.
Absolutely.
And then after this season, we can start making some decisions or assumptions about him. But he's still a young guy. How old is he?
He's 24.
24. So
He's
still
young. That dude's young.
still developing. Like, he's playing alongside Mitchell. You know, he's learning a lot from him, I'm sure. And then you got Mobley. He's been playing with him for 2 or 3 years, and then Mobley's just keeps getting bigger and better.
Yeah. That's a big thing, is how good can Mobley be? Can he be an all-star? If he can be an all-star, like Mitchell, Garland, and Mobley with Allen there, you add some pieces, that's really good.
Yeah,
Like, that's
it's
really,
almost like what the Timberwolves were doing last year, just except they got some better scoring guards almost. Yeah.
and they get a lot better defense from Anthony Edwards. Are you worried about that defensive pairing in the backcourt?
Maybe Garland can get burned a little bit just because of his size, but I feel like Mitchell he's athletic enough where he can hold his own.
I think they need a step up from Mobley to all-star status, and they need a really, really good 3-and-D wing.
Yeah.
And then they need to keep that depth on the bench.
Like, if Mobley can step up a little bit just to take a little bit of the load off of Mitchell, because Mitchell's just, he puts up a lot of shots.
Yeah.
He has the ball in his hand all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He needs the ball in his hand to be effective, you know what I mean? So
Mobley averaged 16 the past 2 seasons. That's pretty good. You know, his 3-point shot is improving steadily. We know what he gives. We know what he gives you on defense. It's just, can he kind of create? Can he create?
yeah,
That's going to be huge. And if he can, kind of takes him to all-star status, and that's big. And if you add a wing who can play really good defense, who can knock down the 3 at the 3, then they should be the second team in the East. They should behind the Celtics.
I don't know if he starts. I think Karis LeVert comes off the bench, but he's the kind of that guy who can give you randomly 20, 30 a night, you know, randomly. And then also Strus is injured right now. So Strus,
I just think
we know him as a Celtics fan.
we do. Oh, boy, do we. I just think he doesn't play good enough defense. I love LeVert off the bench. I love Strus off the bench. But I don't know who is the guy, but they need a 3-and-D guy, I think. Like a defense guy. Like a guy who can guard the opposing team's best guard.
Yeah, like they don't have that lockdown guy, like you're saying.
Yeah, just hypothetically imagine they played the Timberwolves in the finals. Who's guarding Anthony Edwards?
It would have to be Mitchell, and he
And
can't do that
that's
all
bad.
game on both ends.
He can't.
Yeah.
He can't. And that's my thing, is like they need a guy to step up. And sure, they're going to be negative defensively in the backcourt, but they still got Mobley, still got Allen. And if they had that 3-and-D wing, who knows what this team could be. They're really good. They could be really good.
Yeah. What's the name of their coach? They just brought a new coach in.
They fired Bickerstaff, and now they have Kenny Atkinson.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Ex-Nets coach. Okay. I liked him on the Nets. He was the coach of that D'Lo team when, like, Jared Dudley and them, like, they went on that run. And
that was a fun team.
Yeah, I don't know why he never really got another chance. I know he coached
Charlotte.
I want to say he was in Golden State for
Golden
a little
State.
bit.
He was in Golden State, Brooklyn, and
Yeah, it
the
wasn't
Hornets.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
You're right.
He had stints with all of them. I think something went wrong in Brooklyn. I think it did, but I could be wrong on that.
But,
I like the Cavs. I like I thought Bickerstaff was solid, honestly.
yeah.
Kind of a weird firing, but they had to change something up. My thing is that I think it has to come from the roster. I think they're missing something. Like, I don't know who could be the guy. Like, if they had OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges, but that's a lot. That's a lot to ask for.
Yeah, I don't know, though. I don't.
You don't think they need it?
No, I don't think so. I think Mobley, he's so big and long, he can, like, make up for it. And, like, Allen, he holds the paint down.
Okay.
Like, they beat the Knicks the other night, 110-104.
Dean Wade, can he be that guy?
You just need him to give you a few good minutes off the bench. Oh, he start? He
I
started.
guess they're starting him.
Yeah, he started.
Okoro struggles from three, so that's a thing. He's a good defender, but he struggles to shoot the ball, even from the free throw line. He really he's a really bad shooter, I think.
Yeah. I know they kind of wish you got a little more from him.
Yeah, you do because you picked him in the first round.
Yeah, he's a good pick.
That's a 5th overall in 2020. That's a miss. That if it hit, who knows what this Cavs team could have even done by now.
Yeah. You want to look up that 2020 draft, see who's taking form?
Yeah, let's look at this. 2020 NBA draft. I know Ant, Melo, Wiseman, and then it went Patrick Williams. Even Patrick Williams would have been better. Okoro, Okongwu, Killian Hayes, Obi Toppin. Toppin would have been better. Abdija, Jalen Smith, Devin Vassell, Tyrese Halliburton, Neesmith.
Such a bad draft.
It really was. I mean, Maxey went, Quickly went, Pritchard went, Jaden, Desmond Bane. You know the Celtics drafted Bane?
What?
The Celtics drafted Desmond
but that
Bane.
wasn't like our pick to even like.
Got you. So we kind of All right, I got you. Tillman went in that
I've
draft.
seen that graphic a few times.
What a bad draft. I mean, the first 2 picks, sure.
Yeah.
But even LaMelo Ball,
So speaking of the Cavs, they play another team tonight that's been playing really well in the Los Angeles Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the Lakers this season?
My thing with the Lakers is that Anthony Davis and LeBron, you still have them. It's all about the surrounding players. Because LeBron and AD, if you got a good team around them, I think they're going to give you a pretty good amount of production. D'Angelo Russell, I don't know if he's that guy. I think Reeves is a guy to have. Rui could be a guy to have. But, where's this defense coming from outside Anthony Davis, you know? Russell, Reeves, and Hachimura.
Man, Hachimura can. He's athletic. And when they get Vanderbilt back, too, he'll be used off the bench.
That's true. But did you see Anthony Edwards trash talking me? He was like, you haven't been healthy in 2 years.
Yeah.
He's kind of right about that.
Vanderbilt is I don't know, when he is a Rui Hachimura type body out there. You know what I mean? He's big.
He's a better defender. He can shoot. That's a big piece. That's a big piece they're missing. So they get Vanderbilt back. They get Jackson Hayes.
Do you think JJ Redick pushes them over the top though?
That's the thing. JJ Redick's a really good coach. I really like him. I think he's perfect for this team. I don't know what top there's to push over when I don't know what the ceiling is.
We're just trying to. If you're the Lakers, you've made the play in the last 2 years. So you're just trying to make the playoffs. We're trying to be a 6 seed or better. Okay. I think that's a good goal, right?
So. Yeah. I think JJ Redick puts you over that.
Yeah.
In terms of a championship, yeah, I think you're right. That is a little pushy for me to say.
But I feel once you get there and you have those two guys, I mean,
they can.
I know it hasn't worked the past 2 years, but hey, it's those guys are
really good,
generational guys.
My thing is the defense. That's the only thing. Outside of Anthony Davis, those 4, I really don't love the defense. But yeah, they are getting Jared Vanderbilt back. Necht is a piece off the bench. They got pieces off the bench to come in and score. Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes is a good piece. Cam Reddish, who knows what he'll give you. They got depth. It's just, are these guys good enough? I don't know, but I do agree with you. JJ Redick does push them over the play-in into the playoffs.
You've seen the clips online of all the Darvin Ham stuff, right?
Oh, that dude! Oh my gosh!
Him in the huddle, and he's salute, and then they'll show a clip right afterwards of JJ Redick drawing up a play and being like, "What are you doing?"
I completely agree with that. Maybe that kind of puts them over the. Maybe that makes them a contender.
I don't know. Yeah, they're definitely better than they were in the past. I don't know how good they are. They're playing really well to start the season, but it could just be hey, Lakers, they were angry all summer. They've been working for this, where some of these other teams are coming this season a little slower.
That's true.
So who knows?
So in the West, who do you like? I mean, the Thunder. I think the Thunder and Wolves are a playoff team, right?
Who's your favorite team to watch on a nightly basis? If you had to pick one team, be all right, besides our favorite team.
I wouldn't say the Wolves. The Grizzlies are really fun. I really like the Grizzlies. I've always liked Ja.
Okay.
But
no, because I would say OKC if I had to.
OKC is really fun.
They're probably my favorite team to watch outside.
I'd say the Grizzlies, OKC, or yeah, I'd say the Grizzlies or OKC.
Okay.
I just like the Grizzlies. Like I don't know. I like Ja. I like Bane. I like Jaren Jackson. I like the addition of Edie. Then the rest. It's kind of like a Cavs situation for me.
Edie makes him more fun to watch.
That's what I'm saying.
Year. Yeah.
Like that's another big body who can play off of Jaren Jackson. They can complement each other, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
I just hope it works out. I really do. I think they might be a piece away. I don't know what they do. The Rockets too are a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Like they got so many pieces that can do so much. Even if they're not like a legit championship contender right now, they're fun. Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr. These are young guys who have potential. Sengun. Oh my gosh, that guy's amazing.
Yeah.
Like all these guys paired together, Sengun at the 5, Jabari at the 4, and then you kind of figure out who's starting with the rest of them. Like Van Vliet, Reed Shepherd. I love Reed Shepherd.
Yeah.
I love Reed Shepherd. He's got to get in that starting lineup soon.
And like a team that reminds me of them too is like the Magic, who I like. Like a team who like drafted a lot of their own players. You know, they built it from the ground up, and then they're not kind of rushing the process and going all in on free agent. They're signing like good role players that can help them out. Like, you know, they signed Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, Orlando signs KCP, you know, stuff like that.
That's a big signing. KCP?
Yeah, doing it right. So,
and you know, how good could they be this year? Paolo the other night had a 50-point triple-double, basically.
That was,
50.
yeah. No, that guy's going to be a problem in a few years.
If he can emerge as that clear one, which he is, last year he was, you know,
no, dude,
he has another step to take, and he's taking that step. And Franz can be the 2. If Suggs and KCP and Wendell Carter can step their game up a little bit, this team...
Yeah, you need Wendell Carter to step up a little bit, I think. Hopefully you get Jonathan Isaac. I know he's never healthy, but when he's on the floor, he's good.
He's a really good defender. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. He's an elite defender.
Yeah, you just hope Paolo can take a jump of like 4 or 5 points.
That's what I'm saying. I think he is. I think he's doing it.
And, you know, you need Franz to just keep doing Franz things. People weren't big fans of that contract, but I'm going to go out on the limb here and say I think it was a good deal because, like, this kid's 23 years old. He averaged 20 points a game, or like 19.7, so 20 points a game last year. And this is like, he's the face of the team, and he's shown he can do it night in, night out. He's playing a lot of games. He's played over 70 games every year in his career. Like, shoots like over 30% from 3. Like, I don't know what else you really want in a guy. Like, this guy can initiate the ball on offense. Rather give this guy a contract than Michael Porter Jr.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
100%. And that's the thing is, like, I don't know why people
sorry,
are getting on
Michael
that
Porter
contract.
Jr. That was a random shot at you.
But like, he can't create a shot like Franz.
Yeah.
He's just a shooter at the end of the day. And I think Paolo takes that step up from like 20, 21. I think he averages 25 this year. I think Franz gives you 20. I think KCP is the perfect piece at the 2. Suggs.
See, Anthony Black hit that game winner the other night?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's huge off the bench.
Let's go.
Black, Anthony, Isaac off the bench. Mo Wagner.
For a guy that did absolutely nothing last year, it's good to see him like actually playing this year. Like, I'm looking at his stats right now. This is only through 4 games. Big. Keep that in mind.
Oh, 100%.
You know, he's got 10 points a game, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Like, shooting 50% from the field. That's all you want from this guy. And this second-year guard in the league who's
really good defender.
20 years old.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. A really good defender. Oh my dude, this Magic team is set. Like, they're really set. If Paolo can be that guy, which I think he's really proven to the league right now, obviously 4 games, but he's proven it.
Yeah.
And we know his potential.
In like 2 or 3 years, they're gonna be a real problem.
Yeah. And I mean, dare I say, if Suggs and Carter can really take that step this year, they can prove themselves.
Yeah.
They may be a top 3 team in the East.
Like, Suggs knows his game. He kind of shoots that long ball, and then I don't know, when he's not hitting, he knows his role on defense, you know, make plays.
Like you said, kind of like a Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. He's definitely not as big. He can't like guard as many positions as he does, but you get what I'm saying.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Just at that 1-2 guard position, he's great. Where else in the East? Like the Heat, they started out decent. The Bulls, that's a team that was expected to like be okay. like not be bottom.
Yeah.
Same with the Hawks.
I don't know about the Hawks. They could be gearing up to ship Trae Young out. Who knows?
Really, you think so?
Yeah.
How does Zachary Richey look?
He's actually looked really good,
Ooh. But
which has been surprising.
so here's my thing: if you have, Trae Young and Zachary Richey, like I think that's a really good duo. I think it's a really good duo, depending on how good I can't pronounce his name.
Riza Shea.
Riza.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least that's what I was saying. Zachary Riza Shea.
Okay, Riza Shea.
Yeah.
Riza Shea. Okay. That like I just so you know, I am high on Trae Young compared to other people. Like I take a lot of heat for it. He's not a good defender. I think if he's the 3 option, like depending on how good this guy can be, if he's the third, second option with a guy equal to him, that team could be really good.
Yeah, I just don't know, like, with that small guard, like, I have the same problem with the Knicks, too. I don't love the small guards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No,
I've
100%.
had a small guard as my point guard. I've had the smallest guard as my point guard, like, in Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah,
and, like, we just know how...
We know how that works.
It's limited. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I feel like... And I feel like the only way it would work with Atlanta... with Trae Young, is if he was playing with like a Wemby or like a Chet Holmgren, like something like that, where like he can make up and cover for, like, you know what I mean, his defensive lapses.
Dude, I was out on a limb here last season. I was saying Trae Young to the Spurs, Trae Young to the Spurs, Trae Young to the Spurs, please. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I mean, I think I would love to see it. I would love to see it because like. He's a bad defender. But offensively, like, I mean, what did Isaiah Thomas ever have?
He's giving you a double-double every night. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
That's still for something. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you want him to take, when he comes to your team, you don't want him shooting as much or shooting as far from the basket as he does. Like, some of the shots, you're just like... Mm-hmm. But then sometimes they go in, and you're like, what the hell? So,
here's my thing. I think Isaiah Thomas never really had a roster, and he went up against LeBron. Like, that was his competition, and he got injured. But, like, I feel like if Isaiah Thomas had a prime Jason Tatum, that Celtics team could have made a finals. I really think so. And I look at Trae Young, and I'm like, he could be better than Damian Lillard. I really think he could be that level. And I know Dame hasn't gotten it done, but Dame, again, hasn't had the team around him. Like, I think you pair these guys with a really good big or a really good wing, they haven't had the chance. And Trae, we saw him in 2021, you know, go on a run, beat teams, beat the 76ers. Like, I just think, who knows how good Risa Shea could be.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like, he's a first overall pick. If that guy can be a 25-point per game scorer in 2 years, that duo could make noise in the East. And I don't see duos as good as that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, I could see... I haven't watched any yet, but, like, I'm sure, like, the Spurs with Chris Paul is, like, almost like a preview to what it would be. You know what I mean? Like, a guard like that out there.
It would be. It's just a guy who Wemby can cover his defense, and they can play make for Wemby, you know, help him up. Dude, Trae and Wemby, can you imagine that? Like, just with a bunch of 3-and-Ds, Keldon Johnson.
The pictures would be funny, that's for sure.
Oh, dude, I really think that would be insane. But I know that's, you know, Atlanta and San Antonio, you can't really predict that to happen. I would love it. But, yeah, we got a few more minutes left. What do you want to touch up on before we get out of here?
Can we touch on the Thunder?
Yeah, absolutely. We got to. They're the best team in the
West. For my championship prediction, I have the Celtics coming out of the East, the Thunder in the West.
Okay.
I know it's not crazy. It's not out there. I just don't think Dallas can repeat what they did.
I agree.
And I just think something's bound to go wrong again. And they don't. I just feel like Luka's just shooting so crazy. It's got to stop at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. I think the Thunder are the best team in the West too. I know you're not high on the Wolves. I am. I think they're gonna get better as the season goes on. I love the depth they have, the combination of pieces. I think this is a team that could come out of the West. I'm not putting them above the Thunder. The Suns, I think, are a playoff team, but I don't think they're, I don't think their defense is good enough to get them out of the West. The Lakers, who knows?
Did you watch the?
I think the Thunder are outstanding in the West, but I also think the Wolves are right there. I really do.
Did you watch that Wolves Mavs game last night?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I had work. Tuesday nights are rough for me just because I had work.
No, but I was what happened was Minnesota, they were kind of just down 10 the whole game, and they went on a little run at the end, and then just Luka started hitting all these ridiculous shots again. I'm talking 5-6 feet behind the 3-point line, and
Luka.
Yeah.
And who knows what the Mavericks are gonna do? I really don't think they can repeat, but it's Luka.
He's angry, bro. He hit the shot, was yelling F bombs. I don't know what
that dude's
I don't know what his deal is, but I just hope. I don't know. I think this Thunder team can beat them. They're from 1 to 5. They're the best. They got the best skilled players. They're the deepest team in the league. I think if they go, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein down low, and then you got Shea Gilly and all these long, athletic, fast guards who can dribble the ball and make the right play between Case and Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, Jalen Williams, the other J-Dub.
Dude, they are good. They're the best team in the West.
Lou Dort, all these guys, Alex Caruso.
They are insane. They're loaded.
Yeah.
And they have that A guy. And they have that guy Chet, who could also be an A guy.
And everybody knows their role. Everybody knows, all right, at the end of the game, Shea's taking over, and that's what's happening. But, they're all on the same page.
Yes. J-Dub doesn't want to overtake him. Chet doesn't want to overtake him, but they also could be all-stars.
Yeah.
But they know their role. They're so well coached. The chemistry is amazing. And yeah,
those
Shea's
interviews
yes.
after the game, I always stick around to watch them.
Yes.
I don't watch any interviews, but every time I'm all right, I have to watch Shea. I have to see what they're saying. And they're all together. And
This is an amazing team. The best team in the West. Amazing. They should come out of the West.
That's a team that's locked in, and they're willing to do what it takes to win.
Absolutely. But I'm going to be that guy. Watch out for the Timberwolves.
Okay.
I can't give up on them. The other teams, I'm I see too many holes in every single one of these teams. But the Timberwolves, I think, are the devil's advocate to the Thunder being the best team in the West. I really think so. But yeah, the Thunder, my prediction's got to be Celtics Thunder. But if that's your prediction,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to say Celtics Wolves. I might have to.
All right.
But yeah, I think that about does it. Thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back next Wednesday.
Yeah, and we'll pick up where we left off.
We'll have some more NBA. We'll have some more a better vision of the league. So thank you everybody for listening. Peace out.